Have you ever felt your heart race, your hands tense, and your mind clouded with anger in a situation that seemed beyond your control? You're not alone. Anger is a natural, human emotion, but what if I told you that by learning a few timeless principles, you could almost entirely eliminate anger from your life? Imagine having the power to stay calm, composed, and resilient, no matter what life throws at you. You'd be able to face challenges head-on, without the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies them. In this video, we'll explore how Stoicism, the ancient philosophy that has withstood the test of time, can teach you to control your emotions and build mental resilience. Through the Stoic lens, we'll uncover how you can manage your anger, enhance your emotional intelligence, and pave the way for lasting inner peace. And no, this isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending things don't affect you. It's about learning to respond, not react. It's about building a mindset so strong that nothing, not even your own anger, can derail you. Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll have actionable Stoic practices to put into your life immediately, transforming the way you respond to anger and stress, leading to a more peaceful and powerful version of yourself. Topic 1. The nature of anger. Understanding your enemy. Anger is one of the most powerful and destructive emotions that can grip us. It rises quickly, often without warning, and has the potential to cloud our judgment and disrupt our lives. But before we can learn to control this emotion, we must first understand it fully. From a Stoic perspective, anger isn't something that happens to us, it's something that we allow to happen. The Stoics teach us that it's not the events themselves that cause our anger, but rather how we interpret and react to those events. Anger is a natural human response to perceived threats, injustices, or frustrations. It arises from our desire for things to be different, and when life doesn't align with our expectation, anger often fills the gap. The key here is recognizing that anger is a response, a reaction to what we see as wrong. It doesn't exist in isolation, it's part of our complex emotional system. However, from a Stoic viewpoint, anger is an emotion that can be managed, not one that should control us. Physiologically, anger triggers a cascade of biological reactions in the body: adrenaline, increased heart rate, muscle tension. These changes prepare us for fight or flight, an ancient mechanism designed to protect us. But in modern life, those survival instincts can become misplaced. Instead of facing immediate threats, our anger might be triggered by something as small as a harsh comment or a minor inconvenience. This is where emotional control becomes vital. Understanding that anger is a reaction, not a necessity, helps us regain our composure and take control of how we respond. Psychologically, anger can take a toll on our mental well-being. Chronic anger leads to stress, anxiety, and even depression. It creates a cycle of negativity that can alienate us from others and rob us of our peace of mind. The Stoics were keenly aware of this. They knew that harboring anger wasn't just a moral failing, it was a psychological detriment. By fostering emotional resilience and practicing emotional control, we can free ourselves from the grip of anger and reclaim our inner peace. Let's take a step back in history to see the real impact of anger. One of the most famous Stoics, Seneca, had a heated temper that almost led to his downfall. Despite his philosophical wisdom, he struggled with outbursts of rage. It was only after considerable self-reflection and Stoic practices that he began to manage his anger. He wrote extensively about the destructive power of rage, advising others to reflect on their actions before reacting. Seneca's life serves as a reminder that even those who teach Stoicism aren't immune to its challenges, but they can still overcome them through dedication and practice. Epictetus, another Stoic, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it." This quote encapsulates the essence of Stoic thinking. We cannot control the external events that provoke our anger, but we can control our reaction. This simple shift in perspective, recognizing that our power lies in our response, forms the foundation of Stoic anger management. Now that we understand the nature of anger, it's time to move on and explore how the Stoic mindset can help us reframe this powerful emotion. By changing the way we view anger, we can transform it from a force of destruction into a tool for personal growth and emotional resilience. But first, let's dive deeper into how the Stoic worldview allows us to separate judgments from emotions, ultimately helping us regain control. Topic 2. The Stoic mindset, reframing emotion. The Stoic worldview offers a transformative way to approach emotions, particularly when it comes to managing anger. Central to Stoic philosophy is the idea of distinguishing between what is within our control and what lies beyond it. This simple, yet profound, distinction can be life-changing, especially when it comes to emotional control. The Stoics believed that the key to emotional resilience is understanding that we can't control external events, but we can control how we respond to them. This idea forms the backbone of Stoic emotional mastery. At the core of the Stoic mindset is the concept of the dichotomy of control. What is within our control? Our own thoughts, actions, and judgments. What is beyond our control? Other people's behavior, external circumstances, and the natural course of events. Recognizing this division between what we can and can't control allows us to stop wasting energy on things we cannot change. More importantly, it frees us from the emotional chaos that comes with reacting to external stimuli that are not under our influence. Emotions like anger often arise because we believe we are entitled to control situations, people, and outcomes. When things don't go as expected, anger is an immediate response, a reaction to the belief that things should be different. The Stoics, however, would urge us to pause and question this assumption. Instead of reacting automatically, we are encouraged to respond with reason. One effective way to reframe our emotions is through Stoic techniques like visualization and meditation. Visualization involves imagining a scenario where something goes wrong, say, someone cuts you off in traffic. Rather than allowing yourself to react with immediate frustration or anger, the Stoics suggest imagining this very scenario in advance. By doing so, you mentally prepare yourself for this challenge before it even occurs. This mental preparation can reduce the intensity of your reaction, allowing you to respond more calmly when it happens in real life. Similarly, meditation is an essential practice for developing emotional resilience. The Stoics would practice mindfulness to separate their emotions from their judgment. By observing your emotional state without attaching meaning to it, you gain space between the feeling and the reaction. This space is crucial for gaining control over your emotional responses. Through daily practice, meditation strengthens the mind's ability to maintain inner peace, even when external circumstances threaten to provoke anger. Take a moment to consider a real-life example. Imagine you're in a meeting at work, and someone interrupts you rudely. How would a Stoic respond? Most people might feel anger bubble up inside them, tempted to lash out in defense. But a Stoic would see the situation through the lens of what's within their control, their reaction. Instead of engaging in conflict or harboring resentment, they would recognize that the interruption is outside their control, and they would focus on responding with calm and dignity. Perhaps they would take a deep breath, refocus their thoughts, and continue speaking without allowing the emotional disturbance to derail them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most well-known Stoics, reminds us of this principle when he says, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." In this simple but powerful statement, he captures the essence of the Stoic approach to emotions. Our emotions are not a reflection of external events, but a product of how we choose to interpret them. If we can control our thoughts and judgment, we can, in turn, control our emotional responses. This approach may sound abstract at first, but it's a practice that becomes easier the more you engage with it. The more you embrace the Stoic mindset, seeing events as neutral, focusing on your internal responses, you begin to train your mind to handle emotional disturbances with calm and clarity. Over time, you'll notice that your anger begins to diminish in intensity and frequency, as you realize that most external events simply don't have the power to disturb your peace. Now that we've explored how the Stoic mindset helps to reframe our emotions, we must also recognize that emotions are often triggered by specific events or situations. To truly master anger, we need to identify these triggers and learn how to navigate them effectively. Let's dive into how we can become more aware of what sets us off and, ultimately, prevent those triggers from controlling us. Topic 3. Recognizing triggers. What sets you off? One of the first steps in gaining control over anger is identifying what triggers it. We all have certain situations, people, or behaviors that seem to provoke an emotional reaction. But here's the truth: these triggers are not the problem. The real issue lies in how we perceive and react to them. If we want to cultivate emotional resilience and avoid the destructive force of anger, we must start by recognizing what sets us off. The Stoics were masters of self-awareness. They understood that our perceptions shape our emotions. It's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. As Epictetus famously said, we are disturbed not by events, but by our opinions about them. This idea is central to understanding how anger arises. The same event can be experienced by different people in vastly different ways. One person may be enraged by a harsh comment, while another may shrug it off as insignificant. It's not the comment itself, but how each individual perceives it that determines their emotional response. To start identifying your personal triggers, you first need to practice self-awareness. A powerful tool for building this awareness is journaling. By writing down your thoughts and emotions on a daily basis, you begin to notice patterns, situations that consistently provoke anger, frustration, or irritation. Ask yourself, when did I feel angry today? What was happening in that moment? What did I tell myself about the situation? This type of reflection will help you uncover the deeper beliefs and judgments that fuel your emotional reactions. Another helpful practice for recognizing triggers is mindfulness. Mindfulness involves being fully present in the moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment. By practicing mindfulness regularly, you can catch the early signs of anger before they escalate. For example, if you start feeling your heart rate increase or tension in your body when someone cuts you off in traffic, mindfulness allows you to notice these physical cues and take a step back. Instead of reacting impulsively, you can choose to respond with composure. To illustrate this, let's take a common scenario. Someone cuts you off in traffic. If you've ever found yourself angry in this situation, you know how quickly frustration can rise. But from a Stoic perspective, it's not the action of the driver that's causing your anger. It's your judgment about the action. You might be thinking, that was inconsiderate. How dare they do that to me? But by practicing mindfulness, you can reframe this moment. Instead of reacting with anger, you might tell yourself, it's just a driver making a mistake. It's not a reflection of my value or my day. I can choose to let it go. This shift in perspective transforms the trigger into an opportunity for growth, rather than a source of frustration. Once you begin to identify your personal triggers, the next step is to think about how the Stoics would suggest reacting. The Stoics didn't advocate for repressing emotions or pretending we don't feel them. Instead, they encouraged acknowledging the emotion and then choosing how to respond. They saw anger as a fleeting reaction, a storm that will pass if we don't fuel it with our judgment. The more we practice this approach, the less power external triggers will have over us. And this process isn't just about anger. It applies to all emotions, whether it's frustration, anxiety, or resentment. The Stoics believed that emotional awareness is key to managing all of them. By understanding how we respond to external events, we can begin to cultivate a deeper sense of emotional control and resilience. As we continue on this journey of emotional mastery, it's important to remember that the Stoic approach to triggers isn't about eliminating our emotion, but transforming how we engage with them. With each trigger we identify, we gain more power over our emotional state, and with each mindful response, we build greater emotional resilience. Now that we understand how to recognize and manage our emotional triggers, we must take the next step in our journey, developing the power of self-control. This is where the true strength of Stoic practices comes into play. By exercising self-discipline and using Stoic techniques for emotional restraint, we can gain mastery over our emotions. Let's explore how we can implement these Stoic practices in our daily lives. Topic 4. The power of self-control, Stoic practices for emotional mastery. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies one of the most empowering concepts: self-control. The Stoics didn't view emotions as something to suppress, but rather as a natural part of being human that can be guided, refined, and mastered. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to prevent them from dictating our behavior, particularly when it comes to destructive emotions like anger. Through deliberate Stoic practices, we can build emotional resilience and attain a level of emotional mastery that empowers us to stay calm, clear-headed, and composed, regardless of the external circumstances. One of the most valuable Stoic practices for developing self-control is negative visualization. This practice involves imagining worst-case scenarios, not as a way to invite negativity, but as a method of preparing your mind for life's inevitable challenges. When we visualize potential setbacks, we learn to detach ourselves from the fear and anger that can arise when something unexpected happens. By anticipating misfortunes and imagining how we would respond to them, we develop a sense of mental toughness that enables us to react with composure when faced with adversity. Let's consider how negative visualization works in practice. Imagine you're preparing for an important presentation at work, and you're feeling the pressure building. A Stoic might use negative visualization to calm their nerves. What's the worst that could happen? Maybe I forget my points, maybe I get interrupted, maybe I lose my audience's attention. But even if that happens, I will maintain my composure and continue. These things are not within my control. By imagining these potential challenges, the Stoic mindset helps you feel more prepared and less susceptible to the anxiety or anger that could arise in the moment. Another powerful Stoic technique is premeditatio malorum, or the practice of anticipating misfortunes in advance. This is similar to negative visualization, but goes one step further by mentally rehearsing how to handle specific challenges. Whether it's a disagreement with a colleague or a frustrating situation on the road, premeditatio malorum allows you to mentally rehearse the situation in advance, preparing yourself emotionally to respond with calm and grace. But let's not forget that self-reflection is also an essential part of Stoic emotional control. After a potentially anger-inducing situation, Stoics would take time to reflect on how they responded. Did they react impulsively? Did they allow their emotions to dictate their behavior? Through this reflective process, Stoics could learn from each experience and continually improve their ability to control their emotion. They would ask themselves, "What could I have done differently? How can I better handle this situation next time?" This reflection helps them build greater emotional resilience over time, ensuring that they are less likely to be blindsided by anger or other strong emotion. A great historical example of someone who practiced emotional restraint in the face of intense adversity is Seneca, a Roman philosopher who endured great personal and political challenges. Seneca's life was filled with betrayals, political intrigue, and personal suffering. However, through his Stoic practices, he was able to maintain an incredible level of emotional composure. One of his famous writings, Letters to Lucilius, provides practical advice on emotional control, teaching us that the only thing we truly have control over is our response to external events. Seneca often reminded himself that while he could not control the actions of others, he could control how he reacted to them. In the face of betrayal or personal insult, he would ask himself, "What is my responsibility here? How can I respond in a way that aligns with virtue?" This focus on response rather than reaction is the essence of Stoic emotional control. When we apply these Stoic practices, negative visualization, premeditatio malorum, and self-reflection, we build emotional resilience step by step. With time, we develop the ability to detach ourselves from the immediate intensity of anger, frustration, or anxiety, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with calm, rationality, and inner strength. This doesn't mean we will never feel anger, but it does mean that anger won't dictate our behavior. As we continue our journey through Stoic philosophy, we begin to see how these practices help us not only manage anger, but also cultivate deeper mental toughness and emotional resilience. The more we practice self-control, the more we begin to view each emotional disturbance as an opportunity to strengthen our ability to respond with wisdom and clarity. Now that we've explored the power of self-control and how Stoic practices help us manage our emotions, it's time to dive deeper into the concept of resilience. How do we build mental toughness in the face of adversity? How can Stoicism help us stay grounded during life's most challenging moments? Let's explore these questions and discover the Stoic tools for building resilience. Topic 5. Resilience, building mental toughness in the face of adversity. When life throws challenges our way, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Adversity, whether in the form of loss, betrayal, or hardship, can shake us to the core. But what if we could approach these challenges not as obstacles to avoid, but as opportunities to grow stronger? This is the heart of Stoic resilience, the ability to endure hardship without being broken by it, to face adversity with strength and clarity. The Stoics believed that true resilience is born from acceptance. This doesn't mean passively resigning to fate, but rather embracing life as it is, with all its struggles and uncertainties. They taught that everything that happens is part of the larger cosmic order, and rather than resisting what we cannot control, we should focus on how we respond. The Stoic practice of amor fati, love of fate, is the key to this mindset. It encourages us to not only accept what happens, but to embrace it, to love it, knowing that every challenge presents an opportunity for personal growth. Think about a time in your life when things didn't go as planned. Perhaps it was a difficult breakup, a job loss, or a health scare. Initially, it may have felt like an insurmountable burden, but with time, you may have realized that this setback became a turning point, a chance for reflection, learning, and change. The Stoics would argue that this is the essence of amor fati. They would say that adversity, rather than being a hindrance, is an integral part of our journey to wisdom and inner peace. For example, Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, endured tremendous hardship throughout his life. Born a slave, he faced physical abuse and extreme poverty. Yet, he never allowed these external circumstances to define him. Instead, he focused on what was in his control, his thoughts, reactions, and mindset. Epictetus' resilience didn't come from avoiding suffering, but from accepting it and choosing to use it as a source of strength. His attitude towards suffering exemplifies Stoic resilience. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it. In this simple yet profound statement, Epictetus captures the essence of Stoic resilience. Another powerful concept that Stoics use to build mental toughness is the idea of focusing on the present moment. Often, we spend too much time worrying about the past or future, and in doing so, we lose sight of the present. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from focusing on what is within our control right now. In moments of hardship, instead of dwelling on what has been lost or fearing what might happen, Stoics turn their attention to the present moment and ask themselves, what can I control right now? Consider this. If you're going through a tough time at work, you might be anxious about future layoffs or a potential failure. This fear of the unknown can cloud your judgment and exacerbate your stress. However, a Stoic would focus on what they can control in the present moment, whether it's improving their skills, maintaining a positive attitude, or addressing immediate challenges with a clear mind. By focusing on the present, they empower themselves to face adversity without getting lost in fear or anxiety. Building resilience through Stoicism also involves embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. The Stoics didn't view hardships as roadblocks, but as chances to strengthen their character. When life becomes difficult, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" a Stoic might ask, "What can I learn from this?" This shift in perspective transforms obstacles into stepping stones for personal development. For instance, think of Seneca, who faced personal betrayal and public scandal. Instead of succumbing to anger or bitterness, he chose to view these challenges as opportunities to practice patience, self-control, and wisdom. His resilience was built not through avoiding difficulty, but through engaging with it and learning from it. By embracing adversity, the Stoic builds mental toughness, the ability to stay calm, composed, and focused even in the most challenging circumstances. Resilience, then, isn't just about bouncing back from adversity, it's about growing stronger with each challenge we face. The Stoic view of resilience emphasizes that the struggles we encounter aren't something to fear, but something to embrace as part of the human experience. As we continue to cultivate resilience, we begin to realize that we are not defined by our challenges, but by how we choose to respond to them. With each test, we build greater mental clarity and emotional control. The Stoic mindset helps us see the world with greater perspective, reminding us that the only true power we have is over our own reactions. Now that we've explored the Stoic view of resilience, we can see how this mindset not only helps us face adversity, but also fosters lasting peace and emotional balance. By accepting what we cannot change and focusing on how we respond to life's challenges, we move closer to the kind of inner peace that the Stoics so often wrote about. But how can we make these Stoic principles a part of our daily lives, turning them from abstract ideas into practical tools for emotional mastery? Let's look at the long-term benefits of Stoic practice and how you can integrate these teachings into your life for sustained emotional resilience. Topic 6. The long-term benefits of Stoic practice, lasting peace. The journey to emotional control, resilience, and inner peace is not something that happens overnight. It's a gradual process that requires consistent practice and reflection. The beauty of Stoic philosophy lies in its ability to provide a framework for sustained personal growth, leading to lasting peace and emotional clarity over time. The more we integrate Stoic principles into our daily lives, the more we begin to experience the profound benefits of Stoic practice, not just in managing anger, but in every aspect of our mental and emotional well-being. One of the most significant long-term benefits of practicing Stoicism is the ability to manage anger effectively. As we become more attuned to the Stoic principles of self-control, reflection, and acceptance, we learn to respond to anger in a calm and measured way. Stoicism doesn't promise that anger will never arise again, but it teaches us how to handle it with wisdom and patience when it does. By recognizing that anger is a natural emotion, but not one that should dictate our actions, we begin to choose a response that aligns with our values and goals. When we start to control our anger, we find that we are able to make better decisions. Anger often clouds our judgment, leading us to act impulsively and make choices that we later regret. However, by cultivating mental clarity and emotional resilience through Stoic practices, we become less reactive and more thoughtful in our responses. We can pause, take a step back, and consider the best course of action before reacting. This leads to more rational decision-making and helps us avoid the regret that often follows hasty, emotion-driven choices. Additionally, the long-term benefits of Stoicism go beyond anger management and decision-making. Emotional balance is another significant advantage of living a Stoic life. As we practice self-reflection and regularly apply Stoic techniques such as mindfulness, negative visualization, and premeditatio malorum, we begin to cultivate a deeper sense of emotional awareness. We become more attuned to our emotional triggers and learn to regulate them more effectively. This emotional intelligence allows us to stay grounded in the midst of life's ups and downs, creating a more stable and harmonious inner world. For example, imagine a situation where you're feeling overwhelmed by stress at work. Instead of spiraling into frustration and anxiety, you take a moment to practice mindfulness. You remember that your reactions are within your control, and you focus on what you can do in the present moment to alleviate your stress. Perhaps you take a few deep breaths, prioritize your tasks, or simply step outside for a moment of clarity. By applying Stoic practices, you regain your sense of balance and composure, and you're better equipped to handle the situation with a calm mind. The benefits of Stoicism are not limited to individual emotional control. Stoic philosophy also has a profound impact on our relationships. When we learn to manage our own emotions, we naturally improve our interactions with others. Our relationships become healthier because we are less likely to react impulsively in moments of stress or conflict. We are more patient, more compassionate, and more understanding of the people around us. In turn, this leads to stronger, more fulfilling connections with friends, family, and colleagues. Over time, these benefits compound. The more we practice Stoicism, the more we begin to experience long-term mental peace. We learn to live with greater tranquility, accepting that life will always present challenges, but that how we respond is what truly matters. Stoic wisdom helps us understand that we can't control external circumstances, but we can control our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This realization leads to a sense of empowerment, the knowledge that we are capable of handling whatever life throws our way with grace and clarity. Perhaps the most rewarding long-term benefit of Stoic practice is the sense of inner peace that it brings. By consistently applying Stoic principles, we begin to see the world through a lens of calm acceptance. We stop fighting against what we cannot control, and instead, we focus on cultivating the qualities that lead to a fulfilling and meaningful life: wisdom, virtue, and tranquility. This sense of inner peace is not fleeting or dependent on external condition, but instead, it's a steady, lasting state of mind that allows us to live a life of purpose and contentment. As we reflect on these long-term benefits of Stoic practice, anger management, mental clarity, emotional balance, and inner peace, it becomes clear that Stoicism offers far more than just a way to manage negative emotion. It provides a comprehensive philosophy for life, one that leads us to greater personal growth and self-improvement. But how do we begin to incorporate these Stoic practices into our daily lives? Let's explore the practical steps you can take to apply Stoicism every day and start reaping these benefits for yourself. Topic 7. Practical steps: applying Stoicism to your daily life. Now that we've explored the powerful benefits of Stoic philosophy, it's time to get practical. How can you apply these Stoic principles to your daily life to build emotional control, mental resilience, and lasting peace? The good news is that Stoicism isn't something reserved for philosophers or ancient scholars. It's a practical philosophy designed to help you navigate modern life with strength and clarity. And the best part? You can start right now. One of the simplest and most effective ways to apply Stoicism to your life is through daily reflection. The Stoics believed in the power of introspection, regularly checking in with ourselves to see how we're doing and where we can improve. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, kept a personal journal where he reflected on his thoughts, actions, and progress. This practice of journaling is something you can easily incorporate into your routine. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down your thoughts. Reflect on your actions, your emotional reactions, and any situations where you could have responded better. This daily practice of self-reflection will help you cultivate emotional awareness and identify areas where you can improve. In addition to journaling, mindfulness is another key Stoic practice that can help you stay grounded in the present moment. By focusing on the present, we can avoid getting lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. Mindfulness allows us to step back from our emotions and observe them without judgment, creating space between stimulus and response. You can practice mindfulness throughout the day, whether it's during a moment of stress at work, while dealing with difficult emotions, or even during simple daily tasks like eating or walking. Just take a few deep breaths, pay attention to the sensations in your body, and let go of any distractions. Over time, this practice will help you stay more composed and better able to manage your emotions. Another powerful Stoic technique is visualization, specifically, the practice of negative visualization. While this might sound counterintuitive, it's an incredibly effective way to build mental resilience. Negative visualization involves imagining the worst-case scenario, not to create anxiety, but to prepare yourself for potential challenges. By mentally rehearsing how you might handle difficult situations, you reduce the emotional impact they may have when they actually occur. This practice helps you cultivate gratitude for what you have, because you realize that even the worst possible outcome isn't as bad as you might have imagined. To get started, take a few moments each day to visualize a potential challenge or setback and imagine how you would respond with Stoic calm. Another practical Stoic tool is premeditatio malorum, which involves anticipating misfortunes and planning how you would deal with them. This is closely related to negative visualization, but focuses on preparing your mindset in advance. For instance, if you're anticipating a stressful meeting at work, take a moment to consider the worst possible outcome. Instead of fearing it, mentally prepare yourself to remain calm and composed, no matter what happens. The Stoics believed that by mentally preparing for hardship, we can face it with a level of detachment and clarity that allows us to thrive in the face of adversity. Setting realistic goals is also a vital part of Stoic practice. The Stoics taught that we should focus on what is within our control and not be attached to external outcomes. When setting goals, avoid becoming overly fixated on achieving specific results. Instead, focus on the process and on improving yourself each day. Whether it's practicing self-control, building emotional resilience, or enhancing your mental clarity, set small, achievable goals that align with the Stoic principles of virtue, wisdom, and self-discipline. Over time, these small steps will add up, and you'll find that you're growing stronger, more resilient, and more balanced in all areas of your life. Finally, committing to a 30-day challenge is a great way to jumpstart your Stoic practice. The Stoics were committed to lifelong self-improvement, and sometimes, all it takes is a focused period of dedication to get started. Choose one Stoic practice to focus on for the next 30 days. It could be journaling, practicing mindfulness, visualizing challenges, or simply reflecting on your emotional responses each day. Keep track of your progress and notice how you feel as you commit to this practice. At the end of 30 days, you'll likely find that your emotional responses have become more measured and controlled, your resilience has grown, and you've developed a deeper sense of inner peace. Applying Stoic principles isn't about achieving perfection, it's about making progress every day. By incorporating these practices into your daily routine, you can gradually transform your emotional and mental responses, build resilience, and cultivate lasting peace. Stoicism is not a quick fix, but a way of life that, when practiced consistently, can lead to profound changes in your mindset, emotions, and relationships. Topic 8. Applying Stoicism to your daily life. Final practical steps. Having explored Stoicism's long-term benefits and its transformative potential, you now have a robust understanding of how these practices can reshape your mindset and improve your life. But knowing the theory is one thing, putting it into practice is what truly brings about lasting change. It's time to make Stoicism a part of your daily routine. The question is, how do you start applying Stoic philosophy, with all its wisdom and techniques, in a way that feels manageable and sustainable? One of the most effective and simplest ways to begin is through intentional daily reflection. Each day is a fresh opportunity to learn from your experiences and refine your emotional responses. So, at the end of your day, take a few moments to pause and reflect. What situations triggered an emotional response? How did you react? Could you have done better? This type of reflection isn't about self-criticism, but about self-awareness. Over time, you'll develop a keen understanding of your emotional triggers, allowing you to respond in a more stoic manner. A quick and powerful method to help build this habit is to keep a Stoic journal. The act of writing down your thoughts allows you to externalize your inner world, helping you see situations more objectively. A Stoic journal might include 3 simple questions each day. 1. What did I do well today? 2. What could I have done better? 3. How can I improve tomorrow? This simple exercise will quickly become an invaluable tool for your personal growth, allowing you to track progress and reinforce Stoic principles. Another powerful way to integrate Stoicism into your life is through mindfulness. Stoicism and mindfulness go hand in hand. Being mindful doesn't just mean being present in the moment, but also being aware of your thoughts and emotions without judgment. When faced with a stressful or emotionally charged situation, rather than reacting immediately, pause, take a breath, observe your emotions. Is it anger, frustration, fear? This space between stimulus and reaction is where you have the power to choose how to respond. Stoicism emphasizes detachment, the ability to observe our emotions without allowing them to control us. Practicing mindfulness daily helps develop this ability. The more you practice this, the less likely you are to be swept away by emotional turbulence. You'll find yourself reacting less impulsively and approaching challenges with a calm, measured mindset. Furthermore, as we've discussed, negative visualization is a key Stoic practice that can help you build resilience. It's easy to get caught up in the highs of success and the lows of failure. But the Stoic way is to prepare for both by mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios. For instance, before an important meeting, imagine everything that could go wrong. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll find yourself equipped to handle it if it actually happens. The beauty of negative visualization is that it doesn't invite negativity. Rather, it fosters acceptance and mental preparedness, reducing the shock and emotional impact when things don't go according to plan. Another daily practice worth adopting is the Stoic technique of premeditatio malorum. Just like negative visualization, this practice helps you prepare for misfortune by considering potential obstacles and how you would overcome them. Let's say you're about to take on a new project at work, and there are numerous challenges ahead. Instead of worrying, spend a few moments imagining the obstacles you might face, whether it's a difficult conversation, a setback, or even a failure. Then, think about how you could respond, based on the Stoic principles of calm, courage, and reason. This premeditation helps inoculate your mind against stress, so when challenges do arise, you can meet them with mental clarity and composure. It's not about expecting the worst to happen, but rather being prepared for it in a way that doesn't disrupt your peace of mind. One more highly practical tip for integrating Stoicism into your life is setting small, realistic goals. Stoicism teaches us that our goal shouldn't be to seek perfection, but to become better, one day at a time. Set manageable goals that align with your values. Maybe it's working on maintaining emotional control in stressful situations, or committing to daily self-reflection. Achieving these small goals will build momentum, reinforcing your practice and gradually strengthening your mental resilience. Remember, Stoicism is a lifelong practice, not a quick fix. It's about progress, not perfection. Start small, and gradually expand your practice as you become more comfortable. Consistency is key. Lastly, consider committing to a 30-day challenge. Choose one Stoic practice to focus on for the next month, whether it's journaling, mindfulness, or practicing negative visualization. Hold yourself accountable, track your progress, and notice how you feel as you practice consistently. At the end of the 30 days, you'll likely notice a shift in your mindset and emotional responses. You might even find that you've developed habits that stick with you for a lifetime. Incorporating Stoicism into your daily life isn't an overnight transformation. It takes time, patience, and persistence. But with small, consistent actions, you'll start to experience the profound benefits of Stoic living: emotional resilience, mental clarity, and lasting inner peace. As we've explored, Stoicism offers powerful tools for overcoming anger and cultivating a calm, resilient mind. By applying these practices daily, you can shift your emotional responses, strengthen your mental toughness, and achieve a deeper sense of peace that transcends life's challenges. But the key lies in taking action. The philosophy works only if you live it, step by step, day by day. Now, it's your turn to take that first step. What Stoic practice will you begin implementing today? Will you start journaling, meditating, or practicing mindfulness in the face of challenges? The time to act is now. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who could benefit from these teachings. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on more content that can help you on your journey to emotional mastery and inner peace. Remember, the more we commit to growth, the more empowered we become. So take action today, and let's walk this Stoic path together.